Hello, Mack the Maker here, and tonight we're going to be working on some aftermarket Jags valve covers for a 1970 Dodge Charger model kit by Revell-Monogram. This is actually going to be a kind of a cannibalistic kit here. I also have the 69 Charger by Revell-Monogram that I will be using the 440 engine for, and actually the body because it already has the vinyl top on it. So it's going to be a combination of two kits, but it is going to be modeled to look like, let me figure out how to do this here. This engine here, this is actually a real car. The car belongs to a family friend of mine. That means quite a bit to me, and may go into that later, but in the meantime I do want to build this replica car for them, and it currently runs sorry, my use of OBS is not quite what it should be. It has these Jags steel valve covers on them, as opposed to like the standard stamped steel Mopar valve covers. So to be as accurate as possible, I kind of want to copy this style of valve covers for the model. So let us get to Fusion 360, which is the only thing that's still open. Great. All right, so I am going to make sure I got this correct here. All right. Make sure I got it. All right. So this is Fusion 360. This project's actually going to be trying quite a few new things for me in this, so I may completely screw it up. We'll see. So what I did is I actually took a tracing of the kit valve cover, scanned it, and converted it to an SVG with Inkscape. I should do a video with that at some point. Oops. Let's go to the right window here. Project Charger. And I'm going to go ahead and open that. And see, they're fairly small. I mean, it's just a valve cover on a 125 part kit. So, I don't know if it's going to let me move it here. It's a little off straight. I don't know if I can. Ooh, that's not the button I want. Let's redo that here. Alright. Go ahead and hit oops, vertical flow. Oh, it's not going to do what I want it to. So, alright, whatever. Alright, so. Oh, good. Hopefully we didn't completely freeze it. Alright, there we go. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a sketch, and we're going to draw on this guy. I have no idea why this is so laggy tonight. Ah, I was already in the sketch. Okay, so it must have opened. Nope, it's frozen. There we go. And let's do, is it inset? Right. So let's gonna go ahead and extrude. Man, this thing is laggy as hell tonight. There we go. We're just gonna do, it's about 1.5 millimeters. We'll get that figured out later. All right. So I need to shoot back to Chrome. So I need to get these little angles and the cutout. Let's picture here. Might not be the easiest to see. Let me see if I can zoom in. So it's like, it's actually fairly tall. I've got a cutout here. Okay. So I think wish I had the opportunity to take some pictures myself of the car. So it looks like the breather caps are actually at the front, which actually gives me a pretty decent okay. And I am going to not what I want to do. Just want to get the base here. And these will be printed on a form too, so I'd like this to have about 1 millimeter, and that's about 1/10. Okay, so let's move this up. Oops, oh, just the face. There we go. About 1/3 of a millimeter. Let's go there. Okay. And we're gonna go okay. I'm gonna sketch, and we're gonna sketch on the valve cover. There's my little tray thing. Yeah, well. Then I I am trying to get this from 3 different views is not the funnest. Again, I'm going for kind of close enough here. I don't think anybody's going to be staring at the valve covers too much. So let's zoom in, and we want to I'm keeping this. I'm going to do this a different way since it's curved. Do some construction lines here from. We're going to do 0.2. So next time I will make sure that my sketch is, or my tracing is, in some sort of XY plane. So this part isn't nearly so difficult. Alright, so let's go. Try to move this. Trying to get a good view of the. So that's there. Alright. That's kind of spatial logic or spatial reasoning. That's not my strong suit here. That picture. Yeah, alright. So doesn't really help, but alright. So let's go ahead and go back to so these are all just going to be kind of guidelines to help me keep equidistant. There we go. All right. So I'm going to do one last one. This one's going to be a little trickier. But my guess is it's actually going to be more. Let's let's try looking at the stock and try to make sense of the outline there. So see if we can. There we go, perfect. Not even sure what. Nope. Alright, so the breather goes on the front. The bottom has the two kind of sloping areas up. And wow, this is not working nearly as well as I'd hoped. Okay. And the tops look to be fairly symmetrical as well. Okay, I can work with that kind of. So these are the tops and these are the bottoms. Alright. So it looks like either my tracing or the kit part isn't completely accurate. I'll go with my tracing isn't completely accurate. So this should really be more of a angle. So you know what I'm going to do is if it lets me delete. No. So I'm going to try to recreate this. As best I can. So that's go from this line here. Yeah. No. You let me. Alright. These look like I should mention that this is going to be the first of probably many iterations. Alright. And like I said, this looks symmetrical, so I bet that this is well, not touching, so that's great. 9, it's about 1 millimeter. Alright. It's also not touching, so let's fix that here. be a tough one. So we want about a millimeter. Still not great. That's closer. Still isn't. And real quick, just to clean some stuff up, I'm going to do some trimming. Okay. Nope. It's not trimmed. Some extra stuff in there, so let's. What these little purple things are. I'm sure I screwed something up somewhere. No idea what that is. So, and I'm going to measure 0.5 millimeter. Let's do that a different way. Of course, this would be much easier. Is 90 degrees already, but it's 0.3 millimeters. 303. Whew, that's way off. That. So to trim, you just hit T and click on the line segment that you no longer want, and it usually deletes it unless you're doing something you don't know what you're doing, which I do all the time. There we go. So that 0.4 something. This should be more like here. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Oops. Looks like that line segment wasn't. Nope. There we go. Alright. Go ahead and come over here and clean that up. And then we're going to move. Let me see if it'll let me. Till I'm quite the expert at Fusion 360. It's alright, I need to learn it. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is move my sketch off of the SVG. I wonder if it'll let me just delete that. happens if I extrude this? There we go. Maybe that'll do it. Ha! Alright. Sure, that's not the way you're supposed to do it, but it worked. Except it didn't. Damn it. Wish there was a way like in Wings that you could toggle the... Guess that was the other thing I could have done, is just inserted an image and traced over that, but I wasn't sure how I was going to go about this, so next time. Stop sketch. There we go. Maybe that's what I needed to do. And figure out the hell those purple things are. Oh, bodies. I make... You know, let's just turn that off then. And get back to back view. Alright, so we'll go back to my picture. It looks like zoom in again some more. So it looks like there's a bit of an outline. Alright. So here's where we're going to do that 0.2 guideline all the way around. Let's not touch. They sure don't. There we go. So I could have just done that. So these are just going to be guidelines, and you can either, once you're in a sketch, you can either click on the line up here in the top, or just shortcut key L, and then type 0.2, and it'll automatically. So I wanted to be all parametric about it. I could find the first one I did, which is, oh, let's do that here. So let's see if we can. Let's figure out which line this one is. Whatever. Click that, and then D24. Okay. So if I did that and know that that segment's D24, I can just type in D24 now, kind of like a Microsoft Excel. And what it's going to do is it's going to reference that D24. So all I would theoretically need to do to change all of these Let's get that D24 and change that to 0.35, 0.4, what have you. And then it would change all my other little segments around here. Again, I come from more hacky, 3D modeling, Tinkercad, Wings 3D, some other stuff. So this parametric stuff's kind of new to me and figuring all that out. That angle is not right. So let's try to figure out. Yeah. Sure. So I am going to draw based on, yeah, sure. Well, that came out all right. And the nice thing is, even though it looks like it's huge on screen, I mean, each one of these segments is not even 1/4 of a millimeter, it's 1/5 of a millimeter. So if I'm a little off, no one is going to know. In fact, I bet the kit probably isn't that accurate from point to point. And so that's, I mean, overall we're pretty close. This doesn't. I don't like that. That didn't look right. Famous. Let's talk about how much I like it. There we go. That's a little better. And this is not even the. I feel that's not 0.2 anymore. It's like close to 0.2. That's 0.12. That might be noticeable. I don't know. I don't know if 0.8 of a millimeter is noticeable. So if that's the case, we're going to want to move this 0.08. What's this guy's? So that's 0.2. And that's 0.2. Okay, so my eyes were wrong. So just double check our work here. 0.2. Okay, perfect. So 0.068. And then where is Thanks, Dale. Someday I'll figure out Fusion or OBS as well as Fusion 360. There we go. Alright, so since none of you saw that, what I did was drew a bunch of 0.2 millimeter guidelines all the way around, and we're going to use that to build up from the flange. And so L. And pretty close. Alright. That did. Alright, so it looks like I'll go around and clean up all my little guidelines here. The other thing I could do is if I wanted to really keep them, I can right click on the line and click on this normal construction. What it'll do is make the line this dotted deal. I don't really need them at all, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of them for now. But if you're working on a big complicated project, construction lines are really nice to have. So that's just a measurement deal. Okay. And where was that? And that, and that, and that, and that. Alright, that looks okay. So now I am pretty comfortable. I'm just going to look at the reference image real quick. There's no sense in screwing that up for you guys again. Alright. So I am going to stop sketch. Shift this around. I'm going to hit extrude. Oh, is that not? It's my outer edge, not. I feel like it's connected somewhere. What are we doing here? First of all, I missed that. I still don't know what these pink things are that I did. There's my issue. There we go. Alright, so stop sketch. I'm going to then real quick just hit E for extrude. I'm going to click shift and click both of those. And is it going to, and I'm going to say 0.2 millimeters and hit enter. And I'm going to hit Control Z because that was all I wanted to do. Because that got rid of my second one. So, alright, so then I'm going to just click on that inner one first. And I'm going to go ahead and make that, I don't know, 0.75 right now. Let me see, that looks about 4 inches tall, which is 4 times 25.4. 101 divided by 25 is 4 millimeters. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why I'm getting sure I did this all wrong. I've run into this problem before and I can't remember how I fixed it. Angle's a little janky, but well, that's weird. Not what I want. What's anchored? Well, first of all, I'm going to fix that because I don't like that for beans. There we go. Another one janky too? No. Unless anything else. So if I do well, that's annoying as hell. Not sure what I did, but I'll just draw a sketch on this plane then. And this time I will do the parametric stuff because I don't want to do this all over again if I don't have to. So this is what the hell? That's probably about a 30. There's got to be an offset, inset. Hey, look at that offset. Let's see if I can get it to work since I already am doing a sketch on a no sketch curves. Nope. Oh, there we go. Point 0.2. Well, that was a lot easier. Heh. But this is why we do stuff. We learn. Like I said, I'll probably have to redo this like, I don't know, 5, 6 times. What did I say, 4? Man, that looks big, but I guess... that looks ridiculous. They don't actually give the dimensions on the valve covers, do they? overview. Well, I give a part number, that's fantastic. Nope. Vehicle fitment. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. Hey, 1969 Chrysler New Yorker. I had one of those. Well, I had a 71. Not sure what the difference in the valve covers were for that, but whatever. Old C body. My cat Moxie's on my lap. Hi, Mox. Say hi to all our wonderful viewers out there. Alright, so I'm not seeing any dimensions, so for now I'm just going to have to eyeball what I think is right, print off a set, and go from there. So, I don't know. Sure. That looks good. And then I am going to go back to our reference picture. And actually, let's go back to Chrome. Make sure I got the picture up. So it looks like on the top and bottom, it's got a bit of a slant. So let's change our view here. And what happens if I trim? Nope, I'm not going to bother doing that. Alright, so I'm gonna see how that works, and then fillet, whatever. Well, that's cool, but that's rounding. Well, that's not what I want. So let's cancel that and undo. So it is probably bevel then. Oh, what is the other? It's not fillet. Maybe. Corner type. Nope. Bevel and wings. I'm trying to remember what the hard edge one is. Model shortcuts. Well, you know what? Let's use the internet here. Hard edge fillet fusion 360. Creating sharp edges. Oh, chamfer. Maybe that was Maybe that's what it was. So oops, shortcut key was not. Let's see. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, that's probably not too bad. Of course, it's probably like 3. Let's try 3.5. No, I didn't like that. And is it just me, or is that bottom line not completely straight? We'll see. Just keep doing that. C is not the shortcut for the chamfer. Alright. I like 0.35. I don't like 0.35. I'm not in love with that, so maybe let's de-extrude that a little bit. Yeah, like that. And do my search. Chamfer. I'm betting. No, I'm really liking that 3. I think that 3 is it. Alright. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I'm going to save, and I want to, what's new project it? Project charger. I'm really not a fan of how Fusion 360 does saving files stuff. I should probably learn Inventor, or for Dale. Oh, sorry. AutoCAD, but Fusion 360 is free and probably will be for a while. So come on. I'll cover Mark 1. Really, man? Come on. I don't even... No, that's not what I wanted. You know what? It's getting saved here. Because I don't feel like... Nor it's not. Well, that's less than optimal. Why don't you want to save? If I pick somewhere else, will you save? Oh, good. We're not going to save at all. Sure, we're just going to save. Well, that, of course that worked. No, I don't want you to actually be untitled. That's not what... Maybe this will work now. Nope. Project. It just does not like when I make a new project. Oh, it did. Kind of. Oh, good. Fusion have a blue screen of death? Oh, fantastic. Where was it saved? TU, November 2. Let's try waiting for the program to respond. Oh, good. You can't see any of these dialog boxes that I have. So what I've been trying to do is save it in the fantastic Fusion saving thing. but it wouldn't let me start a new project, and now it completely crashed on me. I hope it's saved in the wrong folder under Untitled, but we'll see. Don't send. Great, man. So let's get you back to a picture of something. There we go. Nice, pretty charger. And I'm going to try to reopen Fusion 360. And see what the hell happened. Or not. Normally I don't have any problems with 360. Did I just see an event? Alright, it's in the event viewer for Fusion 360 launch, so I'll give it another minute to see if it pops up. But yeah, I could have done this in Tinkercad in like, I don't know, 2 minutes. Everybody gives Tinkercad crap, but man, some of the stuff, simple stuff, you can do it pretty quick. Since Fusion 360 doesn't want to even load right now. That's kind of worrying me. I'm going to do what we did before. We're going to import that SVG. Tinkercad automatically converts it into a 3D object, 10 millimeters tall, I think. Whatever it is. Man, this is tiny. So I'm gonna change my grid to 1 millimeter, so, and then I'm gonna try my best to it's fairly lined up. That'll have to live. I'm gonna Control D, change that color. Actually, no, let me. So you guys will get a 2-for-1 today. And I'm going to shift. Select both things, align, get it centered. Needs to be a little bit smaller yet, so shift. There we go. And what are we going to use? We'll use a wedge. Make it a little wider. You know what? I bet they use 90 degrees. I'm going to turn that wedge into a hole. Move it over just a little bit, and I'm going to actually move it down. So to use the arrow keys to move objects in the Z plane in Tinkercad, you just hold Control up and down, or grab this little arrowhead shape. And then I'm going to Control D, duplicate. Up here I'm going to flip and move. So that guy needs to move back a little bit. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to group. And oops, that one wasn't. Oh, hey, Fusion 360 is coming back now. Thanks for joining the stream there, buddy. Let's see if you can. See, there it is. Was that like 5 minutes ago? Alright. Group. Oops. Group. And there, what took me an hour in Fusion 360 took me 5 minutes in Tinkercad. Now, to be fair, what I did in Tinkercad, where I made it a little more geometrically correct, would be way more difficult in Fusion, or in Tinkercad. And some of the other stuff is, obviously the curves aren't as curvy and all that kind of stuff, but for really simple stuff, or for sizing, like, so now I can take whatever dimensions these are, print these out real quick, see how it fits, and then, you know, once I nail down a more perfect dimensional analysis, I guess, I can take that into Fusion 360. And of course, the nice thing with Fusion 360 is if I want to change one single angle, it's a lot easier to, where in Tinkercad I'd have to bring another wedge out and manipulate that, and it's like, even right now, the way I shrunk it, I'm not loving how much extra space is around those short horizontals as opposed to long verticals. If I really wanted to fix that, that'd be pretty easy in Fusion. And this, I've got to bring another shape out. What is that? One something. How far am I above the plane here? 1 millimeter. And I'm just gonna Control T. Maybe that's a little better. And so that's a little bit better, but you can see how much more of a pain in the butt that is. And if I wanted to try to do those curved sections, I just wouldn't be able to. There's ways where you can like duplicate it and make it a hole and then shell it and a bunch of other crap, but it's not worth it. So, oh good, Fusion 360 is back. Let's see if my model saved. Oh, it's not quite back because it's just beeping at me every time I click something. Alright, oh, there we go. Untitled, none of these. Give me a filed recovery. None of those are what I want. So where's my... Ah, it did save. Praise Jesus. There we go. Let's see if it'll let me save this where I want to. So save as. Project Charger saved. New folder. Valve covers. And we're going to save this as valve cover 1. Actually, let's do it by date. So 11 November 10/23. Since I do so many changes, I just use the time and date usually for my files, and that makes it a lot easier to know which one was a decent one. Unless, of course, I screw up and then have to go back, in which case then I have to figure out which was the last good file, but, you know, whatever. So save. Done. Alright, so I will print these out. You know, the dimensions aren't that FDM friendly, so I will pop these in the Form 2 tomorrow morning, and I'll take a picture and post them on my Facebook and Instagram, and we'll do both. We'll do the Tinkercad one and the Fusion 360. Let me change back the real quick with Tinkercad. if you're interested in Tinkercad, I have more tutorials on my YouTube for that. But my favorite part of Tinkercad is how it automatically generates names. And so right now my valve cover's Swanky Bojo Fyron, which I actually kind of like. But I'm going to change that to Charger Valve Covers. And if I really want, the other thing that annoys me with Fusion is, let's get back to it here. So if I want to 3D print it, I've got to hit Make, 3D Print, and then I've got to pick a utility. Like, as far as I know, it just won't save a file on my desktop as an STL or OBJ or whatever. So I gotta pick it, click on it, refinement medium, which I don't know really what difference, if it's an order of magnitude or what. I mean, I guess it tells me my number of triangles here. So under 80, it's medium under 88. Maybe it's not a complicated enough model to really make a difference in that. And then it sends it to a 3D print utility, which, whatever. So I'm going to save it to Mesh Mixer, or not save it to Mesh Mixer, but open it up in Mesh Mixer, because from there I can save it as an STL. And it's going to screw up the world again, isn't it? Let me add a Mesh Mixer source here in OBS. Mesh Mixer is another program I have to do a couple videos on. It's really useful. Alright, so we're going to change to not sure why it's pulling the OBS window up. That's weird. Let's delete that. Nope. So add window capture. There's got to be easier programs than OBS, but I don't think any of them are cheaper. How odd. It's telling me I'm pulling Mesh Mixer, but that is very obviously my OBS window. Alright, well, whatever. Let's go back to Fusion 3. Actually, let's go back to Tinkercad, and since real quick, I'm just going to save the Fusion, or the Fusion 360 model, and I'm going to import it into Tinkercad so we can compare it. So 360 VC for valve cover, and then I'm going to import desktop, and sweet Jesus, a lot of crap on my desktop. My George Costanza. What the hell? Ah, frack. And of course, because Mesh Mixer does it in their proprietary format, you have to export it. You would think I would have caught that export. I'm going to do STL 360 VC. There we go. Oh, and the sizing's all screwed up. Fantastic. So what was this? 23, 22? That's fairly close. So, a bit of a difference between the two, but considering the time investment. So yeah, I will print these out tomorrow and see which one I like better and see which one most closely matches the pictures and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to guess it's the Fusion one. It has the angles a little bit better as opposed to the rounded edges. But yeah, well, thank you for watching my rambling screw up of a session, and hopefully I'll be doing this again in another few days, probably doing something hopefully I'm a little bit better at, rather than muddling around in a program I'm more dangerous than useful in. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a good night.